Hello, my name is Kristina Crump. I am a consumer bankruptcy attorney in Kansas as well as Western District of Missouri.
Hi, I'm Chris Coons. I am also a consumer bankruptcy attorney.
Today we're going to discuss garnishments. So, Chris, what is a garnishment?
Well, a garnishment is usually a court order or a levy on, most of the time, a paycheck, although it can be on a bank account or on some other asset being held by a third party.
Can somebody just garnish a person? Like, can somebody just go in and get...
No.
Okay.
Generally not.
Okay.
Generally, you have to have some type of statutory authority for a garnishment. Most commonly, what happens is that you have a debt, you are sued on the debt, the creditor gets a judgment, and then the creditor uses the judgment to garnish your wages or your bank account. And of course, if it's a wage garnishment, it's repetitive. It continues until essentially the dollar amount listed in the garnishment order is paid.
So, wouldn't somebody have to tell me I'm about to get garnished, or how does that work? Do I get a notice?
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd think you'd know it was coming, but quite often you have no idea it's coming. You are hit with the garnishment. You find out about it as they're taking the money out of your check.
Yeah.
Some employers will send you the notice as soon as they get it. Sometimes you will actually get a notice in the mail, but we very frequently have clients come in that have received no notice at all. And by the way, not getting notice doesn't stop the garnishment. That's not a reason you can object and basically get it stopped. No notice doesn't mean anything. It just means no notice.
Is there anything somebody can do besides filing a bankruptcy to stop a garnishment?
Well, in Missouri, you might be able to claim head of household and get the garnishment reduced, but you can't stop it. In Kansas, if you have illness in the household or somebody's sick or unable to work or provide, you might be able to file to at least temporarily get the garnishment stopped. Other than that, no, there's really nothing you can do. Now, they can only take 25% of your wages, and if your income is low enough, they can't get anything, but that your income would have to be 75% of minimum wage over 40 hours, something like that. So it's
So
really,
a couple $100s.
really low.
A week, something like
a couple
that.
$100 a week. Yeah.
What can a bankruptcy do in terms of stopping a garnishment, and how long does it take?
Well, if you have an active garnishment that's hitting your check and you file a bankruptcy, it will probably take 7 to 10 days normally to get that garnishment lifted. What happens is that the bankruptcy gets filed, we reach out to the attorney that is handling the garnishment, and they will release, because they're required to, the garnishment order. They're the only garnishments that essentially continue actively after a bankruptcy filed are domestic support obligations.
So like child support?
That's right, alimony, spousal support. Those things continue through a bankruptcy case. They don't stop.
Now, if I'm getting garnished, I file a bankruptcy, and then it takes a few weeks for the garnishment to be released. Do I get the money back?
So the money that's withheld prior to the filing of the case, you are probably not going to get back. Now, the bankruptcy trustee might get that money, but it won't come to you. It'll go to the bankruptcy estate. The money that is withheld after the case is filed, you generally look to see, was that money partially withheld for a period prior to the case being filed and partially afterwards, and you might get some of the money back. So there are instances where you can get a little bit of money back, yes.
Okay. Are there any types of income that are protected from garnishments?
Yeah, so Social Security income is generally completely exempt from regular creditor garnishments. VA disability, generally completely protected. Most sources of retirement are protected at the source. So if you have state retirement and it's coming from the state, a garnishment order can't be issued to the state to garnish, but once the money's in your bank account, they can then garnish it. There are exceptions. If you owe, let's say you have state retirement, but you owe the state taxes. Okay, well, the state's going to be able to probably invade your state retirement. But those are very limited exceptions. Most of the time, you're not going to have any issues.
Okay. Any other considerations for dealing with a garnishment?
Well, I think the most important thing is to understand that when you get a lawsuit, when a lawsuit comes down, don't wait to be garnished. Don't wait until things are so fundamentally broken that you're in an emergency to have to file a bankruptcy case. Most of the law firms that you're going to get sued by actually sue people for a living. They are competent. It's what they do. If they weren't doing it for a living, or if they weren't competent, they'd be out of business. So most of them know what they're doing, and most of them have people on staff who are professional skip tracers. That means that they find people. That's their job. They find out where you work, and they issue garnishments on your job and on your bank accounts. Make the assumption when you start getting lawsuits that potentially that's what's going to happen, that they're going to catch up with you at some point. Get in to see an attorney if you can beforehand, and if you get a case filed, no garnishment's going to happen. Now, if a garnishment has happened, or if you think it's in the process, get in as quickly as you can. Because the sooner we file the case, the sooner we can lift the garnishment. And we are used to emergencies on this. I mean, we get these all the time in this office. We get them turned around quickly and we get the garnishments lifted. If you have any other questions about any bankruptcy matter or this one, please reach out to us. If you need to stop creditor calls, harassment, collections, lawsuits, repossessions, garnishments, or foreclosures, please give us a call. Consultations are free.